What's up, guys? It's Nero. Welcome to week 3. Harness your frequency. Chapter 1. Prioritizing your frequency. Now, this week in particular builds off of the framework that I established in the previous week, which is frequency first, action after. It's actually important to understand how much your frequency plays into all of this. And remember, the more that you can begin to internalize these principles, the more your life will begin to change. And you need to internalize these principles to a degree where, your mind will probably say, oh, this isn't that deep, or, whatever. But you have to understand that, remember, complexity is always sexy and simplicity is always boring. But it's this simple, boring stuff which is our ultimate sophistication. Because these principles that I'm breaking down to you are timeless. Bear in mind, I haven't said you have to wake up at 4:30 and do 10 affirmations and, burn some sage and play vibrations. And people do that stuff. They really do. And that's just getting caught up in the shiny objects and the sexy stuff. But it's this principle stuff that is the real needle mover, as they say. So with that being said, let's get into prioritizing your frequency. Now, here's what we're going to cover today. How the universe works. Why you don't actually create reality. How to fine-tune your frequency. And why frequency is equal to emotion. Now, that very first one, how the universe works, is quite a ambiguous statement. There's a lot that goes behind it. But we're going to break it down to a simple level just so you can understand and reflect all of this into every single thing that has led up to this moment in your life to where you made the decision, to invest into yourself and to invest into your business and to invest in your family, because, elevation of yourself leads to elevation of your business, your personal life, and everything that you touch. So well done to you again. Now, you do not create reality. You merely tune in and out of frequencies like a radio. Now, in the manifestation space, I think it's just easier for people to conceptualize that they create reality. And, once you get in the room, we take you to the back door. Well, not everybody, but I take you to the back door and say, hey, you don't create reality. And everyone's like, what? Truth be told, the creator has already created everything, from parallel universes where you exist to every single frequency that exists. And here's the thing, your desired reality is simply a frequency. And the only reason that you're not in it is because your frequency isn't tuned into it. And the only reason you are where you are now is because your frequency is tuned into that. And I speak about this in version 1. So this shouldn't be anything that is overly crazy, but something to reiterate the initial point that, once again, you don't have to get everything done. And you kind of need to begin to detach from the asleep entrepreneur mentality, which is the idea that I got to hustle, I got to get it done, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to, get this done. And you can really detach from that because, one, your God self is about to get things done for you. And this isn't to say, remember, that you're not going to take action. Action is extremely important, but it's only important if frequencies preceded first. Frequency first, action after. So your desired reality is simply a frequency, and the only reason you're not in it is because your frequency isn't tuned into it. And here's the thing, frequencies become sort of a buzzword in the manifestation space, and it's because they don't really know what they're saying. They're just saying words. But your frequency is a vibratory signature, and when you understand that a frequency being a vibratory signature, then you understand that emotion and frequency are one, because emotion is energy in motion, and energy in motion has a particular energetic vibratory signature. So, people think, I want to change my frequency. The first thing is to change their thoughts. Your thoughts are actually quite useless. You experience so many thoughts throughout your day, and you don't need to alter every single thought for you to get to the reality you want. You don't need to force feed yourself 100 times a day affirmations into your head. You just have to have this understanding that the largest shareholder of your frequency is your emotion. This is why, in certain philosophies, such as the Hermetic philosophy, in the Kabbalion, they say that, if you alter your moods and attitudes, you alter your vibrations. And a vibration is simply one instance of a frequency. A consistency of vibrations is what produces a frequency. So the largest shareholder of your frequency is your emotion. So it's not even about necessarily about how you're thinking, but it's about how you're feeling. Are you feeling the emotion that you would feel if you was in that desired reality that you want to be in? And here's the thing. However you feel, the universe will magnify that. If you feel good, it will make you feel better. But if you feel bad, it will make you feel worse. And this is really important, because what this calls for is a conscious cultivation of emotional state. So I'll give you an example. Some clients that I've worked with, get to a point in their business where, it's not performing to the degree they want. So in a way, they begin to resent their business without realizing, and they become frustrated, which is normal. And you might have experienced that. But what you have to understand is that emotion of resentment or, stress, anxiety, negativity towards your business can only lead to that particular reality being magnified. So the universe will then make it worse, which is why there has to be a conscious cultivation of your emotion. Because once you consciously cultivate and choose your emotions and select your emotions and hold emotions, that allows for you to then have those particular emotions that you've selected to be magnified even more by the universe. So if you're making yourself feel good, you will feel better. But if you're allowing it to make you feel bad, maybe you're not happy that a deal didn't go the way you wanted. Maybe you're not happy that you didn't make the amount of money you wanted in a particular month. Maybe you're not happy that, an investor dropped out. But the longer that you hold on to those emotions and you don't get rid of them, the more you then give the universe an opportunity to magnify that to make you feel even worse. And it's really about coming to a conscious understanding that you have a choice. Throughout our lives, they've made emotions seem like, things that just happen. It's not true. And it's important that you have a choice. Like I said, you must consciously cultivate a state of well-being, because once you're in a state of well-being, the universe will then see, oh, he's feeling good or she's feeling good. You know what? Let me make them feel even better. And how do they do that? They see what frequency you're putting out there. And if you're putting out a frequency for the particular desired reality you want by living in the end, thinking from the end, feeling from the end, with crystal clear clarity and knowing that it's done by your God self, then it'll be like, oh, here. But it's also important that you understand, in order for a ship to reach its destination, the waters must be calm. It's much more easy for a ship to get to where it's got to go if the waters are calm. And those waters are representative of your emotional state. So you have to make sure that you're in a state of well-being most of the time. And don't get it twisted. There's nothing wrong with having your days where, life might have got the better of you, reality might have got the better of you, or really and truly, you might have got the better of yourself. But it's about understanding that more often than not, you have to be in a state of well-being. And you do this by doing the things that will make you feel good that you've put off for now. I'll give you an example. So entrepreneurs would be like, man, I'm not happy because, with the money that I'm making right now, I couldn't comfortably take that trip with my family. Take that trip. See? It's contradictory, right? It doesn't make sense. But what you have to understand is that, and that's an extreme example, of course. But, you might say to yourself, oh, if my business gets to this, then I'll be able to spend more time with my family. Spend time with your family right now. The fuck are you waiting for? Spend time with your family right now. Because what this should signify to you is that a frequency is going to be emitted out to the universe that way. This individual is doing the things that he said he would do if he got to this particular reality. So that must mean that now he's in that reality. So you know what? Here, you can only have what you already have. You might have said to yourself, oh, when my business gets to this, I'll make more time for my partner. Make more time for them now. You might have said to yourself, oh, when my business gets this, then I'll go to the gym now. When my business gets this, I'll start going for massages regularly. Go for a massage right now. Every single thing that makes you feel good, do it even more. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying, you know, if your thing is like cocaine or crack, do more of that. Don't be silly. But what I am saying is, it's important that you're in a state of well-being, and the way that you navigate that well-being is by doing things that make you feel good and not putting them off. Now, delayed gratification is good, but for the purpose of what we're doing here is to trick the universe into giving you the reality that you want by embodying it. And you do that by getting into the frequency of it, and the frequency of it is solely determined by your emotion. So the better you feel, the better the universe will make you want to feel. But the worse you feel, it'll make you feel worse. So here's what we've covered today. We've covered how the universe works, why you don't actually create reality, how to fine-tune your frequency, and why frequency is equal to emotion. I'll see you in the next one, guys.